It is time now to take a look at what Chinese fans are saying about the most interesting stories in the sports world. And for today, that means the Olympic torch's recent journey to outer space. 3 astronauts carrying the Sochi Games torch arrived safely in Kazakhstan on Monday morning after a 4-day stay in space, just one part of Russia's mission to extend the Olympic spirit into uncharted territory. At around 8:50 a.m. local time on Monday the 11th, a Soyuz TMA space capsule landed on a steppe in central Kazakhstan, carrying the astronauts and the aluminum torch after a 3.5-hour journey from the International Space Station. Those aboard included Russian Fyodor Yurchikhin, American Karen Nyberg, and Italian Luca Parmitano, all of whom had been at the space station for the past 5+ months. The Mission Control Center dispatched over 200 search and rescue experts along with a dozen helicopters and 6 emergency vehicles to the landing site. They helped pull the 3 astronauts from the small capsule and carry them to chairs where they were covered with thick blankets, although all looked to be in high spirits after the historic journey. Now, the space trip began last Thursday as part of the torch's 123-day journey from Moscow to Sochi, host of the upcoming Winter Games. A separate team of 3 astronauts, including 1 Russian, 1 American, and 1 Japanese, delivered the torch to the International Space Station via the Soyuz spacecraft, which was emblazoned with the Olympic rings and the Sochi Winter Games logo. After a 6-hour flight, cosmonaut Mikhail Tyurin was the first to emerge from the hatch into the station with torch in hand and a huge grin on his face. The group of 3 joined up with 6 other astronauts who were already at the space station, and then together made a video conference call to family members with the torch floating weightlessly in the background. The Olympic torch also traveled to space prior to the 1996 Atlanta Games and the 2000 Games in Sydney, but had never before been taken on a spacewalk. But on Saturday, Russian Oleg Kotov carried the €4.8 million torch outside the space station, where he handed it to compatriot Sergei Ryazansky. For safety reasons, the torch remained unlit throughout the process, and it was strapped to the astronauts' bodies while they performed other essential work. The spacewalk torch is the same torch that will be used to light the Olympic flame at the Games opening ceremony in February. Now, delivering the torch to space is a symbol of an enhanced pursuit of the Olympic dream and meant to take the motto of higher, faster, stronger to another level, while at the same time encouraging Olympic athletes to do the same. The torch relay began on October 7th in Moscow and will last 123 days altogether until it arrives in Sochi for the opening ceremony on February 7th. The entire route covers more than 40,000 miles, including the North Pole and the deepest freshwater lake, and will feature some 14,000 torchbearers in all. So the Olympic torch goes to space. For a country that went to space for the first time in 2003, you know Chinese fans had plenty to say about Russia's most recent spacewalk. Let's check out some of their comments on Sina.com.
The Olympic torch is more and more magical. It goes deep into the ocean, to the top of mountains, and now into space.
The signal is no good. It looks like America and Russia don't have the money to update their equipment.
I don't think this torch in space has any creativity at all. Who's with me?
The old Soviet Union was so powerful, even now we don't understand their products from the 50s and 60s, things that have spanned centuries.
I've always thought this is the worst idea.
When the U.S. holds the Olympics again, they'll have to take the torch around Mars